Hello everyone. In this presentation, we're going to study the use of real conditionals for present and future. We're going to see the use of it, and also we're going to study some examples. So let's get started. First, remember, present real conditionals describe situations that can be possible now, and also we can talk about their results. In the present, remember, they describe general truth, facts, and habits. Don't forget that if you use an if clause, okay, you can use it to describe a possible situation. In the present, the if clause is the condition. The main clause describes the result. And don't forget to use the simple present in both the if clause and in the main clause. Let's take a look at some examples. The present real conditional is also known as the zero conditional. If you see over here, we have the example with this structure. Like, if you leave ice in the sun, comma, it melts. First, we have the condition, right? If you feel ice in the sun, we can assume, and we already know, that the result is going to be that ice is going to melt, okay? Remember that this zero conditional is used for facts that are generally true and they don't change, okay? They refer to general situations. You can see here other examples, like if you stand in the rain, you get wet, okay? Or you get wet if you stand in the rain. You can switch the order. The only difference is when writing, the comma is necessary when you have the if clause at the beginning and when you have the main clause at the end, okay? But if you have first the main clause or the result clause, and if you have the if clause later, no comma is needed. Let's take a look at the following. We have here other examples, okay? Like if your body temperature is above 98.6 degrees, that is the if clause. What is going to happen? What is the result? You have a fever, right? This is Fahrenheit, okay? In centigrades will be like 38, right, and above. If people get sick, that is the if clause, comma, they sometimes try herbs, or they sometimes try natural remedies, for example. That is going to be the result clause. And if you see, and if you notice, we are using simple present in both clauses. Here we have other example, okay? If people get sick, they try herbal remedies, or they go to the doctor, for example. Now, let's see these other examples. If you see here, these pictures, right? We can say, if the temperature is 0 degrees, right? It snows. If children study hard, their parents feel happy. Water turns into ice if you put it in the freezer. So we have here different examples, and if you see, this is the condition and this is a result. This is the condition for this, right? If children study hard, what is going to be the result? Well, their parents feel happy. Or water turns into ice if you put it in the freezer. This is the result at the beginning, and the condition goes after. So you can have in both orders, okay? Just remember that we are using simple present in both of them. Okay, now the examples for the zero conditional, we continue with other examples. Remember that we can use in affirmative, negative statements, and also in questions, right? For example, if it gets warm, does ice cream melt? Well, that is a condition. If it gets warm, right, comma, even though if it is a question, we also need a comma, okay? The result, does ice cream melt? So my answer can be yes, ice cream melts if it gets warm. I am giving the possible result, right, in the condition right over here. Remember that you can emphasize the result by putting the if clause first and using it to introduce the main clause. Then is more common in speaking. For example, if it gets warm, then ice cream melts, right? Then is more common in speaking. Now, I put here the exercise that I want you to practice, guys. So please, you can open your books, go to page 325 and work on exercise 2.2, okay? You can pause in here the presentation so you can take your time to complete this exercise, because right after this slide, you will find out the answers for this exercise. But it's important for you to practice before that, okay? Now we're gonna go right to the next real conditional, which is the future. The future real conditional describes possible situations, plans, and predictions in the future, and also the likely results. So what is going to be the difference with the present real conditional? Let's take a look at the explanation and the examples for this. First, we're going to use the simple present in the if clause and a future verb form in the main clause. Don't forget to use a comma after the if clause only when it begins with the sentence. You can use even if when you think the results will not change, even if is equal to whether or not. Also, you can use unless to state a negative condition for that is going to be more strongly. It often has the same meaning as if you don't do this, right, you not or you won't be able to do that, right? We're going to see some examples. When an if clause has many results, you can use the if clause only once. It's not necessary to repeat once and once again. For example, the future real conditional, it's also known as the first conditional. If you see in this example, we have, if we work hard, this is the condition in the present. So what is going to be a future result? Well, if we work hard, we will finish the project on time. Remember that here we are expressing a real, let's say, or a very probable situation in the future. It refers to things that will possibly happen in the future if the condition happens, okay? Now, we have here other examples, okay? And also another use when we use future real conditional or the first conditional. For example, when we're talking about possible plans, promises, warnings, threats, or for persuading someone, we can use this conditional. For example, if I go to Italy next week for work, I'll visit the Colosseum. This is the present condition, and this can be the future result. If I have time tomorrow, I will help you. If you touch that wire, you will get an electric shock. Now, let's see other examples. I wanted to see these examples and take a look at the structure of the different statements with the real conditional, or also called the first conditional. In affirmative statements, we have, if I study, what will be the possible result in the future? Or a real result, Well, I will pass my exams. If I study, I will improve my speaking. If I study, I will be better in English, for example. Now, if we use the same example in negative form, we can say, if I don't study, what is going to be a future result? I won't pass my exam. Pay attention that we're using will in the negative form, right? Or the contraction for this, that is won't. Now I can also use it in questions. If I study, will I pass my exams? Well, I can say, of course, yes. Also, I can use it with third person singular. If he studies, he will pass his exams. Remember that here we're using the simple present, so that's why we have to apply the rules for the verbs, right? For the third person singular. In negative, if he doesn't study, he won't pass his exams. We have here the negative condition, let's say, and here the possible result. If he studies, will he pass his exams? Okay, so now that we took a look at the structure for the different statements with the first conditional or the future conditional, let's see other examples. Here we have the same structure, the usage, right, to talk about possibilities in the present or in the future. And we have here the conditions and the possible future results. For example, if it rains, I will stay at home. If this happens, I will probably do this. If I wake up late, I, for example, will miss the bus, I won't take the bus, or I won't be on time for the bus. And if it is sunny, we'll go to the park. If one leaves, Paula will be sad. If I find your email, I will send you the picture. If you study hard, you will or you won't. Well, you will pass your exams, right? So don't forget that we need a condition and a possible future result using will or want in negative. Now here I put an exercise that I wanted to practice in your textbook. So please, you can go to page 329 and work on exercise 3.2. You can work on exercise A and B. And please, I want you to pause again the presentation so you can take your time to work in these exercises, and then you will check your answers in the next slide. It's important for you to work in the exercises before you continue. Okay, so that's the end of the presentation. I hope you can enjoy this content and also practicing while learning this new grammar. Thank you.